Good morning, everyone. This is Ali Azzeddin for Generation 4 Education, and I'm so excited to start a new day full of free webinar in French, in Arabic, in English, and the day will start with Bron this morning, and we're going to talk about well-being. We're looking at well-being from different perspectives. I would like to welcome everyone who's watching here on Zoom. Feel free to introduce who you are in the chat. Tell us where you are watching from, and let me say also a good morning or a good afternoon to all the people who are watching on Facebook, because we are live also on Facebook, and we are going to keep a track on all the people who are joining from Facebook and interacting with us via Facebook, and the people who are interacting with us here via the chat. So good morning, Safa. Safa is watching from the UAE. Everyone else, feel free to tell us where you are watching from. And Bron, so this is the afternoon where you are, right?
It is. Good morning and good afternoon to everybody. It's very hard to imagine that some people have just got out of bed and I've been up for the whole day.
So we have people watching from Lebanon, from India, from KSA, from Jordan, a wide variety of countries. I think we're ready, Bron, to know more about you and to check what are the questions. The day will be full of hands-on learning experiences, strategies, and tips for yourself and for your students. So empowering teacher through self-care and compassion. Let's go.
Well, good morning and good afternoon to everybody. I'm Bron Gowty and I'm based in Melbourne, Australia. So for me, it's the end of the day. For most people watching in those countries, it's the start of, or it is the heading towards the middle of the day. But welcome. I'm very excited to be with you today, and I am offering for you a very interactive session. So I highly recommend you have a pen and paper ready to be able to take your own notes as we go through the session. And at the end of the session, I'll be able to share with you a PDF where you can I will have summarized the tricks of the trade as such of what I'm sharing with you today. So please be as interactive as possible. We do want to hear your perspective, either write in the chat. There'll be opportunities to unmute yourself. Whatever you feel comfortable sharing, it will be greatly encouraged in this whole process. So thank you. A little bit about me. I have come from a diverse background. I am trained as a primary school teacher and have been teaching for more than 20 years. I have had leadership experience as a curriculum coordinator and deputy head in several different schools, mostly IB, PYP schools in Australia, and I have worked overseas in Spain. So welcome to anybody joining us from Spain. The last 6 to 7 years, I've seen a little bit of a diversion come through in my career, and I'm now heading towards a very strong focus on social, emotional, spiritual well-being, learning development for children, but also particularly for adults and teachers. I've been in a school, I've been in a leadership position, and I have an understanding of the well-being strategies that we need to employ for our own personal development to then be able to share with other people. So I offer this today for your own self-care in whatever time frame your school year is running. For us here in Australia, there is a lot of schools that finished yesterday for the school year. We now have 4 to 6 weeks off for Christmas and summer holidays. And I know some people are preparing for maybe a short 2-week break over the Christmas and New Year period. Whatever time of the school year you are at, the priority towards self-care is paramount, full stop. The pandemic has given us that challenge, as well as the changing dynamics of our classrooms. So I highly recommend that at any point, the ability for you to look after yourself is paramount, because then you're going to be able to look after others around you. So a couple of questions or guiding thoughts that might support you today as we move through the session. I want to give you some strategies that take just 10 minutes in your day. 10 minutes is all you need to be able to regroup, revive, and keep yourself focused for whatever challenges or for whatever situation you are in. At the same time, we're looking at how we can enhance our energy levels, because quite often we just have to keep going. If we can take 10 minutes out to revive and recharge, our energy levels will keep us going for the rest of the day. And also that question of, well, why is self-care important? And we'll have a look at and have a conversation about those tips and why we need to be modeling self-care to other adults and also to the children that are in our classroom. So the first thing I want us to do is set an intention for the day. I very strongly believe that our mindset determines the day we're going to have. So just have a think about, what are you going to do to make this session enjoyable for yourself, make it productive, and also make it interesting? There's a little saying, I don't know if you've heard, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink it. I can lead you and share with you so many self-care tips, but what are you going to do to be able to either replicate, to be able to get the benefits of self-care, to be able to have a productive day, given there's 6 more webinars to come? So just have a think about for a minute, set that mindset. What are you going to do? And when you're talking about something being enjoyable, it's an emotional state that we want to encourage you to have. So you maybe could be coming with an open mind to the perspective of, I'm going to have a great hour. I'm going to meet new people. I'm going to learn new strategies. I'm going to be productive, because when I walk away in an hour's time, I'm going to have 3 strategies, at least 3 strategies that I can employ tomorrow or next week back at school. And also the mindset of, this is going to be interesting. Again, the open mindset to the potential of what you might get out of this session. And I like setting intentional focuses with students in the classroom, because I always think that if they have the right mindset to begin with, the day's going to be a great day. So just take a note for yourself. What's your intention for this session? While you're thinking about those intentions, let me just remind you about self-care and self-kindness. Quite often, we are not putting ourselves as the priority. We put those that are around us as the priority. So in a classroom setting, you put the students as your priority. If you are not looking after yourself, you don't have the energy or the commitment to look after others. So fill your bucket before you can fill the others. Fill your energy levels, fill your kindness to then be able to share with others. There's a couple of things you can do that will help you in that strategy. Accept that change is a natural and unavoidable part of life. Change is the only constant at the moment and always. Change will be around us all day, every day. It's the mindset of how we accept it with a level of kindness and giving ourselves the care to be able to react, change, or embrace the change that happens. Maintain a hopeful outlook on life. You know, there's so many amazing things that surround us every day, and sometimes they just go past us before we stop and consider how good they were for us for the day. And I also like to think of the idea of, we don't have actually challenges, we have opportunities, and opportunities give us the opportunity for learnings. And to be able to take on self-care or self-kindness strategies, it's an opportunity to look after us in order to face these challenges or be able to move forward. So let's start with, if you've got 10 minutes in your day, just have a think for a moment. What can you do in 10 minutes? Just have a think of how many activities, how long 10 minutes is going to be. So in my space, it's 10 minutes past 4 o'clock. So we've been talking for 10 minutes. It's actually not very long. If we can't give ourselves 10 minutes a day to look after ourselves, we might have to schedule it into our timetable. 10 minutes is not very long. You could be unpacking the dishwasher. You could be hanging the clothes on the line, What do you think you can achieve in a 10-minute time frame? And I'm happy for either Ali, if you can help me with the chat or anything to be able to hear what people can achieve in 10 minutes.
You know, while they are typing and they are putting their ideas in the chat, what they can do in 10 minutes, I usually do in my workshops a 1-minute activity. And then I show them like the 1 minute, sometimes it can be very long, and you can like teach the student to take a deep breath. You can teach them how to speak orally for 1 minute and improving their communication skills. So the question for you this morning, what activities take you 10 minutes to do during the day? We are looking at your reflection and at your answers in the chat via Zoom or on Facebook. And remember, you can also send all your questions in the Q&A. So let's check all our attendees who are watching from these different countries. What do they do in 10 minutes? It seems they are still waking up. Okay, so
that's okay.
Yes, like some people, they go for a walk for 10 minutes. And then here I need to remind everyone that they need to put in the chat everyone, so everyone can read their interaction. Bashar is mentioning preparing the cup of coffee and drinking for mama. So maybe 10 minutes for making the cup of coffee and 1 hour for drinking it. I'm not sure. Listening to my favorite song. This is Safa.
Oh, good. So, we'll come back to that one.
Yeah, so we will come back to these ideas. I'm not sure if Safa can paint in 10 minutes, because I know Safa is an artist. Taghreed is mentioning the whole idea of exercise, and I think these, if I tell my coach that I do it for 10 minutes, he will not be happy. They want more. Sleep again for 10 minutes. It's a very early morning here.
A 10-minute power nap.
Yes.
Excellent.
Meditation, like a meditation for 10 minutes. Yes. So you see, we have different ideas coming from different areas, like eating, exercising, spirituality. I'm getting more ideas. So let me see, what do I have? Yoga, coffee is coming again, and talking to my bestie.
You can actually achieve a lot in 10 minutes. You don't realize how long 10 minutes actually can be. To be able to do maybe 1 or 2 of those activities in 10 minutes, you then have the ability to be able to focus on yourself for 10 minutes. So let's have a look at some activities that you can do in 10 minutes every day. And we've already heard some people share what I'm going to share. So that will be a good thing. I know somebody spoke about singing. I think also dancing. There is nothing better than having a little bit of a dance in your classroom, in your office space, in the kitchen. So why don't you just now think of 3 of your favorite songs that make you want to dance? They make you want to tap your toes. They make you want to move your shoulders. You do want to get up and dance. And the reason we encourage 10 minutes of dancing, singing at the top of the voice, if you're comfortable to do that, it promotes the blood flow and increases our energy levels in the body. When you are sitting still for a long period of time, the body slows itself down. The blood flow slows itself down. So if we can get up and move around, that's really engaging all aspects of our body. Our energy will increase. So take your time. Write down 3 songs. 3 songs is about 10 minutes. That's all you need. We're talking about 10 minutes a day, 3 songs. Sit and just write what would be 3 songs that you would be putting on. Make a little playlist is what I'd love us to do. 3 songs is 10 minutes. Surely you can find 10 minutes in your day to be able to get up and have a bit of a boogie. Is it singing? Are you dancing, tapping your toe, whatever it would be? I'd love to hear some of the songs, because I know the minute I hear somebody say the song, I'm going to actually have it in my head. You know how it doesn't leave your head when you hear a song?
True. Now, just to mention that some people, if they are watching in Egypt, there is a very famous singer, and like each song of her, it's a 1 hour. So I'm not sure if she will be happy with your 10-minute, 3 songs in 10 minutes.
No, you might have to extend it for some period of time.
Yes. So the song of Dancing Queen.
Oh, yes, ABBA. Yes.
ABBA, yes. So what else? What are the songs coming to your mind and that you enjoy listening, your favorite songs? Put them in the chat and let's create a
playlist.
Okay. So
I was thinking of the song Happy.
Yeah.
And I also had the song by Justin Timberlake, Can't Stop the Music, something like that. They're really good upbeat songs. You're looking for a song that's quite, it's rhythmical as well. So it's going to get you moving. So the beat of the song is going to be quite fast. So it's not rapid, but it's going to be fast moving.
Monkey Dance, Begin Man Second. Now, I think we're getting songs from all over the planet, and
Fantastic.
I'm not sure if I'm spelling them properly. Jerusalema, a singer from Egypt. They've put the name of the singer. So this is Alia. Interesting. So it's a variety of taste and variety of culture coming in the chat.
So we'll be able to create quite an international playlist.
Yes.
But remember, we're talking 10 minutes. Yeah. Surely we can find 10 minutes in our day to focus on us. I'll keep that chat going.
So we have the Christmas song. It's the season now with all these beautiful songs that reminds us of our childhood and the beauty and the spirit of Christmas.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, we're getting a good list. So that's going to be helpful. If you struggle to add 3 songs to your list, copy it. Make your own list. But maybe have a list that's a playlist on your device of some description. You just press play when you're feeling a bit low, when you're feeling a bit tired, when you actually just want to get up and move around, press play. 10 minutes, that's all we're talking about. I'll keep that list going while I move on to the next idea. The next thought is actually, once we've been up and moving around, we might need to actually just slow ourselves down a little bit. And there is a lot of research around that our breath can be very engaging or meditative for our well-being. So when I am stopping and thinking, I often remind myself and thank my breath and my lungs for keeping me alive. We don't often take the time to celebrate our body, recognize its amazing capabilities that allows us to do what we want to do every day. So I quite often take 2 minutes. This activity takes 2 minutes. Have a think of different emotions, different recognitions that I want to share in my day. This is 2 minutes, not 10 minutes, but you can do it for 10 minutes. So what I do is I breathe in, and I breathe in love, harmony, friendship, laughter, whatever emotion I want to instill in my body. And I breathe out the ideas of the stress or the worries or the concerns that I have. A great quick activity to do after you've been in a really heavy meeting, or if you've had to do something that feels really heavy. Breathe in the love, harmony, friendship, or whatever emotion you want to consider at that time. Breathe out stress, worry, and concern. You can actually say those words when you breathe in and out, or you can just think them. Again, the intentional work of our mindset can be just as powerful. You don't have to sit in your office and say those words for everybody to hear as they walk past. The intention in your mind is enough to support your well-being. So that's something that you can put into your practice. It could be while you're driving your car to work. It could be while you're on the motorbike. It could be while you're walking around doing playground duty. Just be aware of all the good things that are around and those things that you wish to remove from that space at that time. That's a really quick, easy one to do. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, but take your time. Slow breaths in, slow breaths out, but really have the intent of those emotions that you're wanting to share. One thing that I really love to do, which I've sort of been mentioned before, is that awareness of what is around me at this time. So quite often you actually have to physically, intentionally, consciously stop and think, where are the good things that are around me today? Sometimes we feel so heavy from the environment that's around us. Don't watch social media or the news or conversations that are happening. I want to remove myself from that, and I want to build myself up with all the good things that are around me today. Look for the good things. What's something that you have done recently that you've maybe forgot to celebrate, or you didn't set the intention strong enough? So I like to think of all the things I've done this week that were achievements. And those achievements can be quite small, or they can be long-standing. Stop and think of what worked well this week, and how did you feel? You want to connect with the emotions. There is sometimes when I've completed a task, I feel proud. Well, what does that feel like in us? We use the language, we don't always feel the emotion. So maybe you might want to stop and think of all the things that worked well today, this week or this month. Put a time frame on it. Again, this is not going to take you 10 minutes, but it's a good intentional mindset activity to focus on the good, forget the stuff that's not working as well as we would like it to be. But connect the emotion. Sorry,
yeah,
Ali. Yep.
Bron, this is the season also of checking on what did we achieve in 2021,
Yeah.
what are our ideas for 2022, and
Yep.
Again, making this exercise consciously, writing these on a piece of paper, putting them in your diary, I think allows our brain to work and try to achieve them even unconsciously, no?
Correct. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm always about the words with the emotion. How do you feel? Where in your body is that feeling? And that's what we want kids to be able to connect with. This is part of our emotional literacy. You know, when you feel it and you say it, it's like a pattern in the body. It enhances what we're trying to do. Totally
so
agree.
we got some achievement from our attendees. So
please share.
Yeah, I will share. So being a risk taker, I left my home country, started a new job in a new environment, in a new culture. So this is a good thing that happened.
And how does she feel? How do you feel after achieving all of those very, very important processes? Yeah, that's a great
proud.
one.
It was mentioned in the chat.
Great, fantastic. So that's another really quick activity to do. Remember, we're talking about 10 minutes in the day. You could do it at the end of the day. Some people do these activities around the dinner table at night with the family. What have you done today that you're proud of? What have you done this week that you never thought you would achieve? So use the language with everybody in your household, everybody in your team at work. They're really practical activities to use. The other activity that I really love doing, and I must admit I was doing this before I came onto this webinar because it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon here, get your creative juices flowing. Get into it. Find an activity that you can be totally immersed in. You forget about everything else that's going on around you. You lose track of time. I had to set an alarm to make sure I was here on time. But find something that really just gets you out of that automatic pilot mode, and it gives you the opportunity to stop and think about things. You get involved. It could be music, for example. It could be, I was sewing. I found my sewing machine during lockdown, and the creative juices keep flowing, and I can be sewing until 10 o'clock at night. I have to stop. But it just takes me away from the mundaneness of maybe what my day was. I'm so proud when I can wear a top or wear something that I've made. But it just is recharging. It just disconnects us from our busy lives and focuses on an activity that you can be really proud of at the end. So maybe have some time to think about what is your creative element that maybe you haven't done recently too. I know lockdown's given us different opportunities, but maybe you never got around to being as creative as you would like to be. So think of the activities that are creative for you, and they're different for what's your creativity, Ali? What would something
I wanted to share with you, like being in the kitchen and cooking. And
yes.
so I usually don't follow a recipe. I just like go open my fridge, see what do I have, and then it comes like in a very beautiful way. And usually the feedback is artistically, it's very attractive. And the taste is very delicious. So
I love it. That's a win-win.
Yes, yes. And then the other creative thing is like preparing for a travel, you know, when I'm traveling to a new destination, and then I want to check what are the places that I'm going to visit, what are the activities. This is a moment where I don't feel time, and then I can spend like also hours reading, exploring, and creating the schedule. We're checking the participants who are interacting with us. And so I want to revisit my passion, which is painting. So yes, don't forget this passion. We have someone else who's saying that I'm currently painting and listening to you. So hopefully we are inspiring your creativity.
Yes, please. If this is something you haven't considered, or you're a bit worried about when the time's going to be creative, put it in your timetable, schedule it in for the day. My sister said to me this morning, come on, we're going Christmas shopping. I want to be creative. I want to get into my studio. I want to do my sewing. So I had to really make sure that I had at least an hour and a half before coming on to make sure that I had that creative time. And I had to make sure that I put it in. Sorry.
We say that organizational skills and planning skills are things that we teach to students, and then we need also to do it for ourselves. And then when people, they say like 24 hours in a day, it's not enough. I would say they are enough if we know how to use them. And then we create a routine. And we create a kind of a pattern, you know.
I agree. Totally agree.
Yeah, I've been doing like exercise for a whole year with a personal trainer, and then I committed like for 3 days a week, and it's a kind of a 1 hour very early in the morning before I start the work. And now because he has a short break, like I'm missing the gym activity. And it can be for anything else, listening to music, dancing, calling someone, meeting someone. So this is a very important idea about creating the time and finding the time.
And I think you're right in saying when it's not part of, when you've had the routine of it and it's lost, you miss it. So we do want some of these practices to be automatic. You know, you want some of these activities to step in when you need them, but actually don't have to schedule it in. So to be able to automatically get into some creative flow is exactly what we want our body to be doing. We want to get into these activities. We want to get into these mindsets automatically. So I'm interested when you said that you miss it. As hard as it might be at the time, we do miss them when we're used to them and they're part of our routine. Very much so.
Before we move to this one, I found also something that is very interesting and I love. It's like taking care of my garden and my flowers. And I think gardening is an amazing activity where you can get a lot of vibes and positive one.
And you're, dare I say, you're with Mother Nature, and she is caring and supporting for us every day. So being in that environment is a great one. So that will be really helpful when I move to more than 30 minutes in a minute. You can include that activity. This is the one I love to do with the students, because how many times do the children sit very strangely on their chairs in the classroom? Sit up straight, pull your shoulders back, get the flow of the brain through to the spine working. And I like the idea of putting your hands on your thighs and squeezing your shoulder blades back and hold it for 5 minutes. It feels like you're just opening up to the world, and it feels refreshing, and it gets the flow from the brain through to the spine working effectively. You can do that when you're not even aware of doing that. The other one's just holding your hands behind your back, holding one wrist and just pushing your shoulders back. So really simple activities to do. We're talking about the physical, we're talking about the mental, we're talking about all aspects of our well-being in these activities. What if you have more available time? So those were quick activities that you could do in 10 minutes or less, and you could do them 3 times a day. That's the other thing that you could consider, is if you don't have the 30 minutes, which some of these activities will take, do short bursts throughout the day. So a little bit more about that creative idea is your passion. It could be the gardening, it could be cooking. What is your absolute passion? And I always talk about it makes my heart sing. I want to get into that heart space, and I open up, I feel happy, I feel content. You can be creative, but also you're connecting on that heart space. Does that make sense? We want our heart to sing. We want to get into it with all aspects of our body, to be totally immersed with a long passion. It could be that you have a passion for music, and every aspect of music gives you that encouragement or that stimulation or that commitment that takes more than just a 10-minute activity per day. So what is your passion? What makes your heart sing? And it's a different level. If it's, I'm really happy today, I feel really happy today. No. It's in your whole body, head to toe. Your toes might tingle, your tummy does a little bit of a butterfly move. What is your passion? What makes you sing? What makes your soul awaken? We want to get to those spaces more often because they are refreshing for the body and they are energizing as well. Again, these are more than 10 minutes worth of our time. So you might have to schedule these into your session, or into your day, I mean. The other aspect to consider, which is very strongly encouraged by a lot of
one.
You do. Not today, not during these 6 webinars.
Yes.
No, not today. After the webinars. But how important is it for us to detox from technology, but also work? We are so committed to work now. We are answering emails at 10 o'clock at night. We're receiving emails at 10 o'clock at night, but people are still also responding at 10 o'clock at night. No go, people, no go. We have to have our boundaries of work and play. And I think the pandemic has changed that a little bit. We are so much more accessible that it's hard to find that line between what is my time for work and what is my personal fun time out of work hours. So I strongly recommend keep to work hours. And I'm not saying they might be 9 till 3 or 9 till 5. You may need to access or be available for times out of that, but be really specific about that. We're teachers. We do not have to be available 24 hours a day. It is not appropriate for our well-being. We are not able to give to the full capacity 24 hours a day. So turn off the social media, turn off the phone after these webinars. Enjoy the time when you are engaging or learning or communicating, but also get out and have fun. So I always really like to remind
I'm not
us.
sure if you are aware of the news, Bron, that the UAE, we used to start our week on Sunday and finish it on Thursday. So the weekend is Friday, Saturday. Starting from 2022, our week will be 4 days and a half, starting on Monday and finishing on Friday midday. To allow
wow, that's very progressive.
Yes, this kind of, hopefully, disconnection from technology, more family time and more bonding in nature, with the family, with the grandfather, grandmother, and so not just working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Very important.
And they changed the rule for the whole country. All the let's say, jobs. And so all the schools now, especially the school principal, I'm very sad for them, because instead of starting their holiday, they are changing all the timetables that they need to have ready for Monday, the 3rd of January, 2022. And then one of the Emirates, because in the UAE, there are 7 Emirates, decided to have a 3 days weekend. So they will have a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off, and then they will be working only 4 days a week.
Yeah. And we know some of the Scandinavian countries are similar too in their times of their days as well. We don't know how to extend the day. We will be more productive on a shorter day.
And you know what, also they allowed, like in some of the jobs on Friday, instead of coming to the office only for 4 hours between 8 and 12, you can do it remotely from home. And so this can be also the same for schools, like an afternoon where it's an asynchronous afternoon where everyone can leave early. I talked about all these kind of creative ideas in timetable, and it started maybe growing and spreading in some countries, because like COVID changed our life, as you mentioned, and we want this change to be productive and not to go back before COVID. So
no, and that's one thing we're able to gain from COVID is flexibility. And what an amazing opportunity we've had to be encouraged to be flexible, but do not get on that technology or do not respond to that work email in that time when you are with friends, when you are with family, because COVID's made that disconnect. This is an opportunity to reconnect. So I love it. That's so good to hear. You said briefly before, and a couple of people have also shared that movement and exercise idea. Whether it's 3 short times of 10 minutes, whether you are able to give 30 minutes or more, whatever you're doing promotes the blood flow and increases our energy levels. Doesn't matter what it is. It could be the walk around the block in the middle of the day. It could be walking around at lunchtime. Do a few laps of the oval. If you're on duty, be active. Don't sit down. Be engaging with the students, but also engage in your own well-being at that same time. So the more you can do, that's the other thing I remind me, vitamin D from the sun. We don't need to be all covered up. We do need some vitamins from the sun. We do need the fresh air. Getting out and being active will support that as well. So take the dog for a walk. But, I think we need to consciously put that into our schedule. Park the car at the other end of the car park and walk the distance back to the shops. Little things like that are engaging for us. So consciously aware though. What we want is that these become automatic. They are practices or they are rituals that we include in our day automatically. It could be that you decide that you definitely want to be walking every day. So for us, for me in Australia, I decided I was going to walk the 10,000 steps a day, every day. 10,000 steps is quite a long time. I then changed it to 1 hour because sometimes the steps were taking me an hour and a half, but I didn't have an hour and a half to be walking. 1 hour. But I made sure that it was just an automatic. And like you, when I wasn't walking, I missed it. I missed that opportunity to be out in the fresh air. It was cold, it was wet, it was raining, it didn't matter. But I want them to be automatic practices. We want them to be part of our daily routines so that we are engaging in that well-being perspective automatically. If you need assistance, there are so many great activities out there that can help you. I really love you can get self-care bingo cards. It's like a bingo sheet that has 16 grids on it, 16 squares is a grid, and each activity gives you something to do each day. They can take 10 minutes, they can take 1 hour. There are so many activities out there that will give you inspiration for different activities to do. I strongly recommend looking at that. There are apps. You might want to look at a weekly schedule and put in something that include the whole family as well. Don't think it just all has to come from you. If you've got the kids there, what would the kids like to do to be active this week? What would the kids like to do to be dancing or singing to this week? So don't forget to include them as well. The one thing I hope that I've been able to share with you is this conscious awareness. We want our mindset to be alert. We want to be in the space. We want to remind ourselves that we are doing activities that are good for us. So being able to either set the intention or to be able to celebrate the everyday activities that we do, we are reminding our bodies to celebrate, to enjoy, to recognize, to encourage that sort of connection with life, energizing, that sort of idea in what we're doing. So taking on that mindfulness approach, that reminder that we are so lucky to be able to walk the dog. We are so fortunate to be able to turn the music up and dance to our heart's content. It's a really great a mindful approach to living life. So I strongly recommend that you're able to do that in all that you do. So let's go back to the start of the session. And I asked you to set your intentions. So what have you done? Was this session enjoyable for you? Was this session productive for you? And was it interesting? This is where I'd really love some feedback, because I've had fun and I thought it was fun to do. But is it fun from your perspective? I'd love to hear what made it enjoyable for you, or what made it productive for you. So Ali, if there's people that are sharing their contributions, I'd really love to hear that, because you don't always get that feedback when you're presenting.
True, and this is a moment where they can share their ideas and they can do this quick assessment of the session. I would like to say that it went fast. And we didn't feel the time, but even though we got plenty of ideas that, as you said, we can put in our agenda, we can practice them, and we can make them rituals. So let us know, what are your takeaway from the session? What did you enjoy? And I can see that Jyoti mentioned passion is something where the soul awaken. And so this is a kind of aha moment or a takeaway from what you have shared. So Iman is saying, actually, it touches many inspiring ideas that they are hidden inside us. And we need just to put the light and practice this, because as a human, we are all connected to nature. We all have passions. We are all talented in something. And we need really to find our potential, as Safa is mentioning now in the chat. So these are some of the few ideas. I have one more. The session was enjoyable. This is at 6 a.m. in the morning, and it was a joy to listen to you. So where are you?
You'll have a very energized day now. 6 a.m. start. You are very ready for a great day. I think the other thing to remind people of when we're talking about well-being, we're talking about the physical, we're talking about the mental, we're talking about the emotional, we're talking about the social, we're talking about all aspects of our being. So we want to make sure, and I hope I've covered enough of these tips for it to be transferred into all aspects of our being. So the social part, for the connection, whether it's walking around the park, you want to be having the physical and the social together, for example. It's a great way to be able to work. If you're wanting to connect the mental and the physical, maybe you're listening to a podcast while you're walking. So don't think that we're not actually engaging in the whole body's perspective when we are considering these tips or these strategies. Well-being is for the whole body. So we want to make sure that we're really connecting with that. And I hope also the idea of setting intentions or mindset is helpful for people to remind ourselves to be positive, to be engaging, to be productive. Sometimes that reminder needs to be drilled into us by ourselves, or it won't happen. I think that's a really important aspect to consider. We don't always stop and celebrate or remind ourselves that we have achieved something amazing this week, or we are engaging in our passion. And that can be very invigorating to do. I'm just thinking, I'll just put that up as well for people to connect further. A lot of the work I'm doing is with individuals in a clinic setting. So as much as I have worked in a school setting at the moment with COVID, I'm finding that people are wanting that individual support. So I'm really happy to connect with anybody from this space that wants a little bit more information, or that will want their own tips for their own well-being. And maybe we can set a plan up, or maybe we can devise strategies that are suited to you and your classroom or your family or whomever that you want to be connected with. So I strongly recommend people to be proactive in your own well-being. That old saying, you can lead a horse to water. You're the only ones that can be responsible for your learning, for your well-being, for your engagement. And that's important for you to take that action in order to do that. Are there any other questions? Are there any feedback?
No, I'm sure you want to listen to this. I benefited from the webinar. It included many things, ideas that made me rethink about things that I need to focus on.
Yeah, fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah, excellent.
Yes. So now for all the people who are watching us, while we're waiting for some question, I would like to share with you the following. This is the website of Bron. So for the people who are asking how to be in touch with you, you can find the website here, and you can have the contact details from the website. You can subscribe to the newsletter, and you can get in touch also if you need any individual session and any support virtually. And then for today, so Bron, she mentioned that we have 5 extra webinars after this one. We're moving now to the leadership perspective and the well-being and the leadership after a kind of a 15-minute break. You can use these 15-minute break to listen to your 10 songs, to practice, or to maybe do a quick walk before you log in.
We've been sitting for 45 minutes. We need to get up.
Then we will have a French session for all our French speakers. I always like to include the 3 languages that I speak. We will be talking about emotional intelligence. After our lunch break for Dubai people and the people based in the Gulf area, we will talk about well-being, but this time how to avoid burnout. And again, with a very interactive session full of ideas. The end of our day will be for our Arabic speaker. So we will be looking at the well-being of the teacher in Arabic, and then your mental and spiritual health, if you want, also in Arabic. The day full of ideas, full of speakers from Australia to Lebanon to Egypt to Saudi Arabia to UK. It's really international, and I wanted to wrap up the year with this topic so we really can take a nice break, take care of ourselves, and then get ready for a new year full of change, full maybe of a new variant of COVID. Who knows what will happen in 2022? But I'm sure if you are open and if you are connected to nature, you know how to deal with all these obstacles, and you can always benefit from these opportunities, because, and I always say that a challenge can turn into an opportunity. So Bron, a final word from your side. It seems that people are sending all the thank you. They were happy with the session and they don't have questions for this morning.
Yeah, no, I'm so grateful for people considering their well-being. I think it's important, and I think, as I said, you need to put a priority on your well-being in order to be able to support those that are around you, whether it's in your classroom, whether it's in your home. 10 minutes a day, that's all it needs to be. 10 minutes, 3 songs. 10 minutes is all we need to be focusing on ourselves. So if nothing else, just consider 10 minutes a day, and your body will be happy, your heart will sing, and I wish you a fantastic day. I know, Ali, we've got a snippet page for just some tips of what I've talked about. If people want to be able to access that, how do they go about that?
Sure. So I'm going to share this. So we're sharing with you this document, a kind of tips for your self-care. It's in the chat. You can open the link and you can download it and you can refer to it. So thank you, Bron, for sharing this with all our participants. And I'm sure it will be very beneficial. If they need to know more, they can get in touch with you. I wanted to say one final idea. So let's say that Bron also is participating in a kind of a big online event. Let's say hello to Kirsten, to all the people working with Studdle in March 2022, right?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Yep. There's lots of information out and about. So keep your eyes open for that.
Good. So that's it for the first session of the day. If you are fully awake now and you are ready for the session 2 about well-being and leadership, take a short break and then join me. The session will be starting in a few minutes. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Have a great day, everyone.